Hello folks, I'm going to talk to you about daily routine to ace cat. And so, actually, I'm not going to talk to you about daily routine to ace cat. And I don't have a magic bullet. I'm going to talk about the idea of daily routines. And so, I'm not going to say wake up at 6 a.m., study till 7:15, then get on your routine and carry on. I'm particularly not equipped to do that. One, I don't know the variables that you have. Two, I am particularly ill-equipped because I've never managed it in my life. So I'm going to talk about the idea of some kind of routine, some kind of discipline, and then say and kind of share about what my students have said over the last few years. One thing that a bunch of them said last time really stuck in my head. They kept referring back to this phrase, said, own your preparation, in different forms, in different languages, different phrasing. They all said, look, I finally found something that worked for me. And that for me, that was something that was a bugbear when I was learning and preparing. Was always listening to so many people giving inputs about how to study, when to study, where to study, that I didn't realize, I didn't embrace the vagaries of what it meant to be studying in my style. And so very often you need to have that. And so I'm not given to super discipline, but I'm given to fabulous spurts. And so if I have to have a plan which says 6 a.m. every day, 6 to 7, third day it won't work for me. My mind is not there. But at some 6 p.m. on some day, if it catches my fancy and I'm on a roll, I can, without batting an eyelid, go from 6 to 10 and then do enough in those 4 hours than I would have done in 10 hours of uninspired learning. And so my schedule had to kind of be woven for me. And so own your preparation schedule. Don't follow somebody else's rhythms of life. Don't follow somebody else's prescribed schedule. The broad contours are important, otherwise discipline can go out of the window. I cannot say, look, you own your preparation, nothing I do for 6 weeks, and then wake up and do a couple of hours and expect to crack CAT and go to Ahmedabad. Not possible. Right? So the broad contours and discipline are important. I think anybody serious about this exam has got to say 10 to 15 hours per week. Definitely, you need to put that in. If you have a head start, you're very comfortable with basic numbers and basic math, it can be 8-10 hours. If you don't, it has to be 15-20 hours. And then closer to the exam, you need to amp it up even further. Take a ton of mocks. But exactly how we do it is based on your schedule, your rhythms. And some people simply can't study after a long day or before a long day. Suppose you're on a work schedule that needs you to be in office by 9 a.m. and you typically back by 7:15. You've done 10 hours and then you come back, you're gone. You're not switched on enough to spend another couple of hours learning something. And if you can't really start at 5:15 and study till 7:15 and then get on with your day because you start messing up your day and getting tired by 4 p.m. If that is the case and you're super dedicated and you need to do that for 5 days a week, then you sync everything on the weekend. So I'll do 6-7 hours on a Saturday, 4-5 hours on a Sunday, and then see if I can bridge the 10-12 hour gap. I myself, I would always squeeze in more and more into the weekdays. I was an early riser. I could get away with a couple of uninspired spells in work because I would turn up and deliver tons of stuff from 9 to 1. And therefore, the afternoon spell, if I were not completely, I would do more admin, checking emails, replying, maintaining relationship, doing networking, all of that. In the second half of the day, my big spurts of output for work would come in the morning. And I would spend the first early in the morning before doing anything else on study. If I didn't do that, then I'd guilt trip myself into throwing something later in the day. Right? But for my sanity, I needed the weekend, one big chunk of time without an agenda, where I could goof off, where I could play, speak to friends, travel, just goof off. And very, very essential for my recovery for the next week. And so if I have a 5-day work schedule which is reasonably tight and a 2-day preparation schedule which is reasonably tight, I feel like I'm on a treadmill, I'm doing nothing else. So I would rather cram my weekdays and get the weekend off. Right? When it came to morning versus night, I'm very much a morning person when it comes to study. Even my work, my previous employment, which is a long time ago now, I used to, my work day used to start at 7, and if I had more work, I would start at 6. I would be in office by 6 a.m., probably sometimes sooner. By 10:30, 11, I was done. After that came admin and maintaining stuff and updating stuff, but not real high quality work. So I could do 4-5 hours, 5-6 hours of intense work, but that had to come very early in the day. And so by the time I entered second half of the day, my brain would call out to me to dial down. Which is why even now I struggle if people say let's start classes at 10 p.m. the dudes, I'm already seeing stars by then. Fine. So I'm a morning person, and I can. Some people need time to boot up. I can boot up in 45 seconds. If I'm up and I want to study something, back in my college days, I could start studying. I didn't need warm-up time to just limber down. None of that. I could just bolt upright and wake up like Undertaker. And so that was my style. So I was always comfortable with that. But after 9 p.m., my brain would hang in there, but it would only hang in there. It can't push through. I know quite a few of my friends who simply weren't morning people. They couldn't be asked to apply their brains seriously well early in the morning. But from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. was their territory. When things shut down is when they woke up. When there was some peace and quiet between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., which is kind of rare in hostels and colleges, but whatever little was ambient was there, that's when their intensity would go up. And so find your style, find your rhythms, whether this or this or this or this. I'm going to do 12 hours a week, 15 hours a week. I'm going to prepare that framework in mind. And then rejig this based on your rhythms. And so very often I find exhortations to early morning schedules and rhythms, or plans on every day 6 a.m. Keep that discipline, 5:58 up and about, all of that. They work for some people, they don't work for some. They've never really worked for me over a longer term basis. So I like to have some wriggle room where sometimes if it doesn't work, my original schedule doesn't work, I have something to fall back on. One important element of this whole gig, especially if you're doing it over 8 months or 10 months, is that you need to feel good about yourself. Sometimes you always aspire to a fantasy schedule, and that doesn't happen. You guilt trip yourself, you don't bounce back, you start becoming a little sad. Not sad, sad is a very powerful word. Little restless, little mildly feeling inadequate about yourself. Look, I couldn't do this, pata nahi kya ho raha hai, I can't really rouse myself to do this. So that the 10 hours of preparation that you did do feels bad because you didn't do the 15 that you promised yourself that you would. And so that's very important to do it in your rhythm, so that you know that some flexibility is there. A good week is a good week, even if it is not a great week. And so manage your mind like that. It's a long journey, not something that you have to do for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's an 8 month, 7 month process. So you can't keep it too ambitious. You can't let there be too much slack. Right? Figure those things out for yourself. And not much I know this is not of much use for saying come with a beautiful, straightforward schedule. There's a tremendous demand for it. I'm not sure that there's the right way to go about it. I, for one, am definitely not the person to prescribe that. I can prescribe a variant of that and say, maybe this could work for you. But I know for sure that it's not a one-size-fits-all model. So figure out what works for you, create some nice boundaries for that, and stick at it. Best wishes.